The new intern, fresh out of school, sweet as can be, pure to the bone. Every day, I drag him into my little rebellion, passionately trash-talking our boss like it's a team sport. Repeat after me, I say. Down with capitalism. Long live the working class. He echoes me, obedient as ever. Evil capitalists will eventually be destroyed, I declare. He hesitates, brows slightly drawn. Evil capitalists will eventually be destroyed? I go in for the kill. May our boss's son be impotent. May his bloodline end with him. His face explodes into a shade of red I didn't know existed. Emma, he stammers, isn't that kind of inhumane? Huh? Whose side are you on? I shot back. Ethan blinked twice, those puppy dog eyes going wide before he flashed me the most harmless little smile. Yours, obviously. Then what are you so nervous about? It's not like you're the boss's kid. I narrowed my eyes, giving him a slow once-over. Wait a sec, there's been a rumor going around that the CEO's son is undercover in the company. Don't tell me, it's you? Ethan's gaze flickered. Are you hungry? We should probably order lunch. I snagged a 70% off pizza coupon. Right, I snorted. Like the prince of the company would ever slum it with us peasants over cheap pizza. He's probably dining on Wagyu every night, washing it down with vintage Bordeaux. Ethan let out a soft laugh, his eyes catching the light as he looked at me. You say the cutest things. I raised an eyebrow at him. Sweet talk like that? Guess we're getting the large today. Ethan was the new intern at the company. Soft-spoken. Puppy eyes. Always in a crisp white shirt, buttoned all the way to the top. When he smiled, 2 tiny dimples popped out, pure, polite, and practically glowing with innocence. He didn't come from money, that much was clear. Whenever we pulled coupons for lunch deals, he never once complained about the food. Whatever I ordered, he ate. And he always cleaned his plate like a big, low-maintenance golden retriever. Also? The guy couldn't take a tease to save his life. Just saying his name would turn his ears red. Ethan, pasta again today? Want an egg on top? Like clockwork, blush, full bloom. But today, out of nowhere, he messaged me a link. Want to use my coupon this time? Sure. I clicked it open, Kaiseki Gourmet tasting for 2. What? My pupils practically dilated. This isn't food I recognize. He grinned, all smiles and mischief. It's pretty poor people food. Ethan, does this look like something someone on a $4,000 salary should be eating? Who spends $588 on takeout? For that price I should be eating my way into the afterlife. He sounded completely serious. You just need to take 3 photos, write a 15-word review, and they refund $568. No way. Swear to God. Call them if you don't believe me. Then he leaned in, voice low and conspiratorial. Last time I went to the actual restaurant? The $1,288 set got me $1,266 back. How does this guy keep tripping into the universe's best deals? Well, hell no, I'm not letting him hog all the savings. And just like that, Ethan and I graduated from cheap lunch buddies to full-blown co-conspirators in robbing capitalism blind. New Zealand crayfish, chomp chomp chomp. Japanese Wagyu, chomp chomp chomp. Sea urchin so fresh it might sue me for trespassing, chomp chomp chomp. I munched my way through the Michelin-grade lunch while gossiping like it was my full-time job. Reliable intel says the CEO's son is tall, hot, and basically idol material. Like, straight-up debut-worthy. Ethan, mid-sip of his Perrier, choked. Cough, that good-looking? I chewed on my fork, thinking. Come to think of it, were there any insanely handsome interns who started with you? Then my eyes landed on him, and my brow lifted. Why do I feel like you're the best-looking one of the batch? His Adam's apple bobbed. Without meaning to, he loosened his tie a little. At first glance, he really did look like some harmless golden retriever, well-groomed and obedient. But if you looked closely, those features were anything but soft. Strong lines. Sharp nose. Eyes that didn't quite match the docile vibe. A very pretty dog, actually. Maybe it was the way I was staring at him, shameless and unfiltered, the way only a woman who's seen some things stares. Ethan's chest visibly rose and fell. His shirt, already a bit snug, suddenly looked one breath away from disaster. Pop. A button shot off. And where it landed, of course, was the worst possible place. Right through that tiny gap, I could see both his pecs and a cut of his abs. Like the shirt was offering a limited-time preview. Ethan clutched at the open fabric, face turning lobster red. Don't look. Too late, I said, chin in hand, thoroughly enjoying myself. Heh. Not bad at all. I waved it off, grinning. Okay, I believe you're not the CEO's son. No air would be caught dead in a busted shirt like that. And you've been trash-talking capitalism right alongside me. No way a rich kid would roast his own bloodline. Ethan looked down and rubbed the bridge of his nose, silent. Like a big dog with droopy ears, freshly scolded but too good-natured to stay mad. The CEO was scheduled to visit our branch next month. Cue the corporate panic. Everyone was running around like the building was on fire, polishing reports, fixing spreadsheets, pretending they hadn't been on TikTok for half the fiscal year. Mr. Henderson decided to dump the entire annual highlights report mess onto my desk. Mr. Henderson, I haven't even finished my current workload, I protested. He gave me a cold glance, not even pausing to sound polite. Then do it after hours. Time is like water in a sponge, squeeze hard enough and you'll find more. Emma, this is a real chance to shine in front of the CEO. You should be grateful. Grateful, my ass. Even low-tier managers like Mr. Henderson got to crack the whip on us corporate mules. I sat at my desk, full of righteous resentment, typing with the fury of 1,000 unpaid internships. The keyboard clattered like machine gun fire. That's when a slice of strawberry cake slid gently into my field of vision. Ethan peeked around my monitor, only half his face visible. You're typing like it's the 4th of July. Rough day? No shit, I muttered, eyes locked on the screen. I don't want to shine in front of the CEO. I'm a deadbeat fish. Deadbeat fish just want to sleep. Ethan blinked. Wait, you're presenting in front of the old man? Old man? You know, the CEO, he coughed awkwardly. Guess I've been badmouthing capitalists with you for too long. Kinda slipped out. Watch your mouth, Ethan, I warned, playing the wise elder for once. He chuckled, then added quietly, almost to himself. Well, might as well meet him now. Sooner or later, it's bound to happen. Lately, Ethan had been sticking around after hours with every excuse in the book, mostly revolving around waiting for takeout. Thing was, he always managed to land some sort of free tasting deal. Private sushi chefs, French cuisine, Italian trattoria samplers. At one point, I found myself staring blankly at an entire steamed East Star grouper laid out on the conference table. Why don't you just relocate the restaurant into the office? I deadpanned. Ethan scratched his head, sheepish. It's not my fault all these tasting menus are for two. And you're my only lunch buddy. Well, I wasn't gonna say no to free food. So I ate. Chomp chomp chomp. Meanwhile, Ethan parked himself in front of my computer and helped me plow through the backlog. For once, this corporate mule had a smaller, sweeter mule helping pull the cart. Mid-bite, I drifted into mindless scrolling. One swipe turned into 5, and before I knew it, my feed was nothing but thirst traps, jacked guys doing almost inappropriate things in barely appropriate shorts. What's got you smiling like that? Ethan suddenly leaned in, catching me off guard. Too late to hide it. My grin had already reached both ears. I bluffed like a pro. Just admiring the fitness dedication of some online creators. Appreciating their efforts, and hitting like. Ethan blinked innocently. Then why's that guy doing push-ups in a collar? Aesthetic reasons? You like that kind of thing? I work out too, he said, dead serious, eyes bright. Want to verify my results? Before I could even process that sentence, Ethan took my hand and pressed it straight onto his chest. I think I've made good progress, he said, moving my hand lower, guiding it slowly over the defined ridges of his abs. What do you think? His chest was solid, warm, and cut like it was sculpted. Every line distinct under the thin cotton of his shirt. The kind of physique that deserved its own warning label. And that's when it hit me. I finally understood why men lose their minds over innocent, clueless girls. Because this boyish, unaware seduction? It was criminal. I swallowed hard, trying to play it cool. Not bad. You could probably start an OnlyFans at this rate. I mean a fitness channel. A fitness channel. Jesus. The day of the CEO's visit finally arrived. Mr. Henderson practically glued himself to the man, laying it on so thick it was a miracle the floor didn't get slippery. The CEO flipped through the report materials in his hand, skimming page after page, until he suddenly chuckled. This one stands out. Clear, concise, and, surprisingly sharp. Who put this together? Mr. Henderson jumped at the bait. Mr. Collins, it was me. You? The CEO frowned, visibly unimpressed. It wasn't him. Ethan's voice cut in, cool and steady. Mr. Henderson nearly tripped over his own feet. What do you mean, not me? I, meanwhile, was yanking on Ethan's sleeve like my life depended on it. Dude, for the love of God, shut up. But this absolute lunatic ignored me completely, standing there like some righteous corporate knight. I saw Emma Dawson working on it, he said. She did it. I closed my eyes. Welp. That's it. My career just flatlined. And it wasn't until much later that I found out what, exactly, the CEO had seen in that report. On the last page, barely noticeable, was a handwritten line from Ethan. This report was prepared by your future daughter-in-law. Compliment her. The CEO asked to see me in the executive lounge. Naturally, I assumed it was going to be about company operations or the report, something serious. But instead, it turned into small talk. He smiled like a friendly neighbor from down the street, eyes crinkled with warmth. Emma, right? No need to be nervous. I'm pretty easygoing. And then came the light questions. Work treating you okay? Your family doing well? Nothing high stakes. Just weirdly casual. Then, right before I left, he asked. What's your opinion on age gap relationships? Excuse me? When I came out, Ethan was waiting for me, visibly anxious. So? What did you say? I said age is just a number, as long as the muscles are big enough, I replied, still in a daze. Then the CEO laughed. Like, really laughed. His assistant even clapped and said they hadn't seen him that happy in years. Ethan grinned. You better mean it. I sighed, mood crashing back down to earth. We should be worried about Mr. Henderson. That guy holds grudges like it's a competitive sport. He's had people fired over way less. We're probably next on his hit list. Ethan didn't seem fazed. Relax. I've got you. I looked at him with genuine pity. This boy. So young. So tragically fearless. And what exactly is a $3,000 a month intern gonna do? He shrugged. Didn't you say my body's not bad? Then with a perfectly straight face, he added. Worst case, I'll start posting thirst traps and use the money to support you. The evening was the CEO's official welcome banquet. Black tie required. I hobbled into the opulent venue in a cocktail dress and heels that felt like medieval torture devices, nearly spraining my ankle with every third step. Everywhere I looked, glittering gowns, crisp tuxedos, champagne flutes in constant motion. Power players I didn't recognize toasted each other with billion-dollar grins. It took me forever to find Ethan. And when I did, I almost didn't recognize him. "Why the hell do you look like that?" I blurted. He was wearing a perfectly tailored charcoal suit that hugged his frame in all the right places. His usually soft, tousled hair was slicked back, clean lines revealing a strong forehead and razor-sharp features. The glasses were gone. In their place was a face so striking, it bordered on dangerous. The soft little intern had vanished. This was someone who walked boardrooms like runways. I click-clacked my way over in a panic. Dragged him straight to the buffet table like we were crashers sneaking into the VIP section. "This kind of event has nothing to do with us," I muttered, shoving a mini cake into his hand. "Let's just eat the expensive stuff and bounce." That's when I caught a glimpse of his wrist. "Damn, your fake watch is pretty convincing. Look at that sparkle." Ethan's jaw twitched, but he didn't say a word. Then I looked up. And saw Mr. Henderson, storm cloud face and all, stomping toward us like he'd been waiting for this moment all night. "Crap, crap, crap, Henderson's coming right for us," I hissed. There was no way he was letting that report stunt go. If he couldn't chew us out at the office, he'd sure as hell do it here. We were toast. Mr. Henderson strutted up with that fake smile/smug glare combo he'd perfected over the years. "Well, Emma," he said, voice dripping with sarcasm, "someone really enjoyed the spotlight tonight." He leaned in, smiling like a vulture. "But don't forget who your actual boss is. You young people need to know your place, all right?" Ethan, standing off to the side, spoke up with the calm of a loaded gun. "Not for much longer." Mr. Henderson's face went red instantly. "I haven't even started on you, and you're already mouthing off?" I jumped in, trying to play peacemaker. "Mr. Henderson, please, don't mind him. He's just an intern. Doesn't know any better." "Intern?" Mr. Henderson barked, eyes bugging out. Spit nearly hit my cheek. "Keep talking like that and I'll have both of you out of here tonight, fired." "Fired who?" A smooth, composed voice cut through the tension like a knife. The CEO had appeared out of nowhere, standing right behind us with that easy smile and unreadable gaze. "Mr. Henderson," he said warmly. "You certainly like to throw your weight around." Mr. Henderson froze. The man practically shrank 3 inches, sweat already beading on his forehead. "And no, sir, of course not, Mr. Collins. It's just, this intern here was being disrespectful. I was merely correcting him. If he spoke out of turn to you, I'd be, well, mortified." That would be a problem," the CEO said, nodding thoughtfully. "Though I'm used to it." He turned to Ethan with a sigh, almost fond. "This kid's been mouthy at home for years. Never calls me dad properly. It's always old man this, old man that." The entire room went still. Air, suspended mid-breath. Mr. Henderson stood there like someone had pulled the plug on his nervous system. Eyes wide. Mouth open. Sweating through his shirt. "Wait. Called who dad? Who's dad?" Later that night, the CEO stepped up onto the stage and yanked Ethan up with him like it was nothing. "Everyone," he said with a warm smile, "allow me to introduce my son. He just returned from studying in Germany and is currently working at the branch office, starting from the intern level." I don't know if Mr. Henderson actually dropped to his knees, but spiritually? I sprinted. Clutching the hem of my cursed formal dress, I half ran, half tripped my way out the back door, heels stabbing into the ground like regret. After only a few steps, I was out of breath, collapsed onto the edge of a flower bed, gasping like I'd just outrun the IRS. Deep breath. Calm down. And then, the mental replay started. What exactly have I done in front of the son of a literal CEO? May the boss's son be impotent. Let the bloodline end with him. Okay. That's one. Then there was the part where I made him do my work. Where I groped his abs. Where I said he looked like someone who could make bank posting thirst traps online. Great. Perfect. Career suicide, but make it spicy. Look, we don't go looking for trouble as low-level corporate grunts, but we are highly skilled at panicking when trouble finds us. Only option now, resign and disappear. Go home. Move to another city. Change names. Maybe fake my own death. I tried to get up, only to realize my ankle had twisted from the earlier dash. Shit, I dropped back down with a wince. Planning to flee the country? Ethan's voice floated down from above. Then a warm suit jacket settled gently on my shoulders. The mountain breeze gets cold at night, he said quietly. Don't catch a cold. I shut my eyes. Willed the earth to open up and swallow me. He sat down next to me on the flower bed. I instinctively scooted away like he was radioactive. What? He asked, watching me. You trying to draw a line now just because I'm the CEO's son? I glared at him, teeth gritted. Your last name's Reginald. Shouldn't the prince's name be Collins? His voice lowered, softer this time. It's my mother's name. She passed away when I was little. Damn. I had not accounted for the tragic backstory. We sat in silence for a while. Then Ethan turned slightly, eyes darting toward me, his voice soft and cautious. Are you mad? Who, me? A lowly peasant? I wouldn't dare. He sighed. So that's a yes. Without warning, he crouched down in front of me, kneeling so low it was almost pitiful. He looked up with those wide, guilt-ridden puppy eyes, pure emotional warfare. You can hit me, if it makes you feel better. I didn't mean to lie. I wasn't falling for it. Not this time. Even if he took my hand and placed it on his chest, right over those infuriatingly sculpted pecs. Even if the texture was exactly as good as I remembered. Nope. Not falling for it. I snatched my hand back coldly. I wouldn't dare strike the crown prince. He stayed kneeling, posture lowered like he was made of apology. I didn't want to reveal who I was. It was the only way to see the company without the filter, the real version. Then his gaze met mine, voice a notch lower. And part of it was selfish, he said. I wanted to be near you. I turned my head away. Near me for what? If you'd known who I was from the beginning, would you still have shared lunch with me? Mocked capitalism with me? Hell no. He raised his brows, gave me that smug little see? Look. So you see, I had no choice. Wait, it suddenly hit me. So all that insane luck of yours, those free tasting menus, the private chefs. That was all fake? You scammed me? Ethan winced, eyes darting away like a big dog who just shredded the couch cushion and knew he was in trouble. I'll pay you back, I mumbled. Furious, I stomped my foot, and immediately regretted it. A sharp jolt of pain shot up my leg, I'd completely forgotten about my twisted ankle. Ethan's expression shifted instantly. You hurt your foot? I clenched my teeth and gave a small nod. Without another word, he stood and scooped me up in one smooth motion, bridal style. Put me down. I shrieked, flailing. Not a chance, he said, gripping tighter. You're not going anywhere. Ethan's expression had gone completely dark. The usual soft, harmless puppy boy energy? Gone. In its place was something sharp, commanding, like the edge of a blade you didn't see until it was already pressed to your skin. He carried me straight to the back seat of a Maybach and tucked me in like I weighed nothing. The privacy divider slid up with a smooth mechanical hum. The rear cabin sealed off into a quiet, cocoon space, luxurious, and far too intimate. The car began to glide forward, silent and steady. Without a word, Ethan pulled out a bottle of chilled water from somewhere and gently lifted my injured ankle, resting it across his thigh like it belonged there. The cold bottle met my skin and I flinched, a sharp breath escaping me. But his palm stayed wrapped around my ankle, radiating heat. I tried to pull away. I'll do it myself. He didn't let go. Instead, he looked up at me, eyes dark and unreadable. So are we still friends? I narrowed my eyes. Buddy, if we were friends, you should have heard this saying before. He raised a brow. I deadpanned, it sucks to see your friend suffer. But it sucks worse to see your friend driving a Land Rover. He blinked. You, I added, aren't driving a damn Land Rover. You're in a Maybach. What's that little golden hood ornament your dad drives again? Ethan grinned, amused. Rolls-Royce. I rolled my eyes hard enough to see last week. Right. That. Perfect metaphor. He leaned back, smug. I'll rip the little gold man off his car tonight and give it to you. Are you insane? I aimed a playful kick at him, only to wince in pain. He caught my foot instantly, firm but careful. Stop moving. You're hurt. His voice had that edge again, low, commanding, and entirely too close. I froze. Just like that, the position between us felt too loaded. My ankle in his lap. His fingers warm against my skin. The heat in the car wasn't from the vents. Everything held still, except for my heartbeat, which had absolutely no chill. The street lights outside flickered past the window, casting shifting shadows across his face, light and dark dancing over his features. His eyes looked even deeper in the dim glow, almost magnetic. That perfectly buttoned-up shirt, the way it hugged his frame, the collar tied around his throat. Suddenly, it all felt way too hot. I could barely swallow. My mouth was dry. My skin burned. Every ounce of blood in my body seemed to have migrated straight to my head. Was he leaning in? Or was I the one moving closer? The air between us thinned to nothing, and his lips, God, those stupidly kissable lips, were right there. And just as the universe tilted us toward the edge. Young master, we've arrived. The driver's voice came through the intercom, shattering the moment like cold water to the face. My spell snapped. I blinked, dazed. Looked out the window. That was my apartment building. We were literally parked in front of my home. I bolted. Shoved the door open and half ran, half limped out of the car. Behind me, Ethan called out, startled, "Wait, your foot. Is it okay? Let me walk you in." I waved him off like a fugitive on the run, hobbling as fast as I could without looking back. Nope, it's fine. I live on the first floor. We had nearly kissed. Nearly. If I let him walk me to the door, who knows what would have happened. I reached my building, slapped both cheeks hard, trying to cool down the heat radiating off my face. Focus. Breathe. Be smart. He's the CEO's son. And I'm just a girl with a sprained ankle and a sinking paycheck. We are not, I repeat, not, from the same world. And I was dangerously close to forgetting that. After Ethan's grand reveal at the banquet, it didn't take long for the news to spread. By the time media coverage hit, everyone in the company knew. Our sweet little intern with the puppy eyes was actually the heir to the throne. His new office? Top floor. Thank God. Out of sight, out of awkward. No chance encounters. No tension. No need to explain why, exactly, our lips almost collided in the backseat of a Maybach like it was a K-drama cliffhanger. Mr. Henderson? Silently optimized. No big announcements. No farewell emails. Just gone. The messenger? That cold-faced secretary who stuck to the CEO like a shadow. After escorting Mr. Henderson out, he turned, eyes slicing across the office. And landed squarely on me. "Miss Dawson," he said. "A word, please." I knew it. I followed him into a conference room, already mentally preparing myself. He turned, shut the door with professional finality, and faced me with a smile so polite it almost made me nervous. "Miss Dawson," he began smoothly, "I'm here on behalf of the CEO. Here we go. This is it. The classic scene. He's going to offer me a check. A cool $1 million. In exchange for walking away from the CEO's precious son." My heart beat faster, not because I was nervous, but because, well, let's be honest. Ethan might be hot, but against $1 million check? Girls gotta have priorities. The secretary gently placed a folder on the table and opened it with a practiced hand. This is a new position offer based on your performance and qualifications, he said. You can consider it a promotion. The role is at headquarters. Salary and benefits have been adjusted accordingly. Huh? Not a check? I blinked. Wait, is the economy so bad even rich CEOs are downsizing their breakup bribes? But then I glanced at the offer. Annual salary, $800,000. 60 days of paid vacation. 7 days of paid menstrual leave. Per month. I didn't even hesitate. Grabbed the pen. Signed with the speed and desperation of a starving intern at a buffet line. I'll delete all of Prince Charming's contacts, I declared solemnly. Consider the tie officially cut. For the first time, that emotionless secretary's expression cracked, just slightly. Miss Dawson, he said slowly, I think there's been a misunderstanding. He pushed the folder toward me again. The CEO's intention is not for you two to separate. Then what the hell is this? Distance, the secretary replied, adjusting his tie. He wants to introduce some strategic obstacles. He paused, tone shifting just enough to carry second-hand embarrassment. His exact words were, nothing spices up a love story like a painful pursuit arc. What? I sat back, stunned. This man. This grown man. A billionaire CEO. Father of the heir. Shipping his own son into a slow-burn angst drama. No. Absolutely not. The real crisis here isn't workplace romance. It's that someone needs to uninstall the CEO's short drama apps immediately. No one knows a son better than his own father. Turns out, the CEO had predicted it perfectly. Ethan did panic. I had just arrived at HQ for my onboarding ceremony. Barely finished signing the paperwork. Next thing I knew, Ethan stormed in like a man on a mission. The office tea room was already buzzing like a beehive. Did you hear? The young master yelled at the CEO. Sources say he lost it, full tantrum. And the CEO didn't even get mad. He was thrilled. Said his boy finally grew a backbone for love. Said, and I quote, good. At least Germany didn't fry all his brain cells. Okay, but who's the mystery girl? Is the crown princess already working here? That's when everyone slowly turned toward me. Fresh-faced. Just arrived. Still holding my complimentary coffee like a new hire from HR. I gave a weak smile. Come on. If I were the crown princess, would I still be clocking in? And made a tactical retreat. Only to walk straight into Ethan in the hallway. He looked furious, wild energy barely contained, sleeves rolled, jaw clenched. But when he spotted me, those puppy eyes lit up like someone turned on a switch. Before he could even say my name, I lunged forward and slapped a hand over his mouth. Shoo. This was company gossip ground zero. If he so much as breathed wrong, the whole building would explode. I dragged him into the nearest stairwell. Found a tiny storage room around the corner. Slammed the door shut. What did my dad say to you? He demanded, breathing hard, eyes locked onto mine like they were trying to read my soul. I stared down, fidgeting with my fingers. He offered me $10 million to leave you. His expression froze. You took it? His voice was tight, sharp. Would have been dumb not to. For a moment, I thought he was going to snap. His jaw clenched. His throat moved. But then, he exhaled. A slow, shaky breath, almost like relief. You should have told me sooner you're into money, he muttered. Before I could even react, he slammed a thick folder down onto the table beside us. My real estate portfolio. Personal assets. Shareholder breakdown. Trust funds. Insurance policies. Then he slapped down one more document, almost proudly. And this, my physical exam results. I stared. Your medical records? He looked me dead in the eye. I'm in peak condition. So you don't have to worry about that curse coming true. I stood there, completely stunned. What is all this? Proof, Ethan said, standing straight like he was giving a quarterly report, except his eyes were locked on me like I was the only thing in the world that mattered. Proof that I'm a healthy, financially stable, gym-going, emotionally responsible, wife-loving, morally upright product of right values. I'm mentally resilient. I survived the most brutal boarding school in Germany and graduated on time. So chasing you? I'm not quitting. My tolerance is exceptional. I've sat through entire semesters where the lectures had zero correlation with the exams or papers, and I still smiled through it. Which means, feel free to bully me. I won't fight back. Yell at me, I won't flinch. He paused, ears turning pink. Anne. I've never dated anyone. I know I can't really prove that, but I swear, I was in Germany, studying full-time. No time to fall in love. I couldn't help it, I laughed. A full-on, straight-from-the-gut laugh. Of course Ethan had never dated anyone. No one with experience would walk in carrying proof of assets and a clean bill of health as part of a confession. Seeing me laugh, his confidence wavered again. He shrunk just a little, voice soft and hopeful. Then, can you not take my dad's 10 million? I have lots of 10 millions. I can give you all of them. I grinned. I lied. What? I lied about the money, I said, crossing my arms. Payback. For you lying to me first. Then I told him the truth. I'd just accepted the new job offer from his dad. Not the cash. Not a bribe. Just a promotion. Because when it came down to it, man or no man, the job, the salary, and the money I made myself? That was real. That was mine. So just because it wasn't 10 million, just a measly 800,000 salary, you gave up on me? Ethan's voice dipped into that pitiful, wounded tone that should be illegal on someone that good-looking. You said age doesn't matter, right? As long as the muscles are big enough? His voice dropped even lower, husky, a little dangerous. You've tested the goods. You know I'm in shape. Want a refresher? Before I could stop him, he tugged loose his tie and undid the top button of his shirt. His collarbone came into view, skin flushed and warm. Way too close. Way too tempting. Stop. I practically lunged, slapping my hands over his, trying to keep him from stripping further like we were in a low-budget office romance web drama. Let's be serious here. Think. What is it exactly that you like about me? Is it my $2.99 charity shop graphic tee? I demanded. Or the $9.99 free shipping shorts I wear to run errands? I don't even wear makeup. My hair during work hours could grease an entire wok, twice. What kind of questionable taste is this? Are you okay? He caught my hands in his and held them firmly. It's cute, he said simply. Whether you're messy or dressed up. Whether you're yelling at me or zoning out. You're cute. Then he leaned in, close enough that I could feel his breath curl against the shell of my ear, sending a full-body shiver down my spine. You're cute all the time. My throat tightened. I swallowed hard, trying to gather the scattered remains of my brain. See, cute doesn't pay the bills, I whispered. His eyes flicked to my lips, voice low and deliberate. No. But you could. Bang. I shoved open the supply closet door like I was escaping from a 5-alarm fire. I had to get out of there. One more second inside and I was going to kiss him, or worse, let him kiss me. And then I'd really be screwed. Standing in the hallway, I rubbed my face hard enough to exfoliate a layer of shame. Behind me, Ethan followed, breath slightly uneven. What's wrong? What was I supposed to say? Sorry, Your Highness, but your mouth seems to have magnetic properties and I'm dangerously close to getting sucked in. I squeezed my eyes shut. tried to reboot my dignity. Then blurted, "I'm hungry." His brows lifted slightly. "Wanna go try the kind of omakase we working class folks eat?" Ethan's eyes lit up like a golden retriever about to be handed his first hot dog. He nodded rapidly, excited beyond logic. I told him to go wait on the east side of the building, second intersection down, just in case any coworkers caught wind of us together. Over the phone, his voice was practically bubbling. "You like this?" he asked. "Like what?" "This vibe," he said. "Feels kind of like an affair." I snorted. "Yeah, between a broke girl and the rich idiot son of the landlord. It's peak class struggle, my guy." He sighed dramatically. Being born into the enemy camp wasn't my choice. "All right then, Mr. Class Traitor. Time to show him what the real proletariat eats for dinner." I brought him to my part of town. Open air, loud, packed, and unapologetically chaotic. There were shirtless uncles grilling meat like their lives depended on it, overturned beer bottles rolling around underfoot, and plastic tables so greasy they glistened under the streetlights. "This," I said, chin tilted with pride, "is my go-to rib joint." I gestured at the shaky plastic stool next to me. "Most of the seats are broken. If you're not careful, they pinch your thigh meat. Think a little princeling like you can handle that?" Ethan stood in front of the stool, examining it like it was a cultural artifact. Then, without missing a beat, he shrugged off his tailored designer jacket and draped it across the seat. "There," he said, flashing those lethal dimples. "Now you won't get pinched." I froze. Just for a second. Heart stuttered. Like it forgot its rhythm. "Let's order," I muttered, spinning around fast enough to escape whatever the hell that feeling was. I strode up to the owner, a towering black guy who ran the place like a neighborhood dad with a grill addiction. "Same as usual," I called out. He glanced past me, spotted Ethan, and immediately raised an eyebrow. Well, brought your boyfriend tonight? I'll hook you up. Extra ribs for lovebirds." My face went nuclear. Before I could say a word, Ethan stepped forward with that infuriatingly smug smile. "Yep. Boyfriend reporting for duty." "Thanks, boss." Then, snap, he swiped his card and paid before I could stop him. Capitalism, 1. Me, 0. I was pounding beer straight from the bottle, like a factory machine. Ethan, meanwhile, was nibbling on his ribs like a Victorian lady eating macarons, eyes full of literal sparkles every time he looked at me. I couldn't take it anymore. "Do you even know how to eat ribs?" I snatched up a lamb rib, bit down, and stripped it clean in one smooth motion, from left to right. Nothing left but bone. "See that?" I said, proudly. "That's flavor." I burped unceremoniously. "Still think I'm cute now?" He didn't even blink. Just handed me another skewer, eyes practically burning. Cute enough to kill me. I had nothing left to fight with. This man's love-struck brain was clearly in stage 4. Ethan didn't drink, said he had to drive me home. I, however, drank like rent was due in liver cells. By the time we got in the car, I was out cold, passed out across the seat like a professional drunk. When I finally came to, his coat was draped over me. The car was parked. Engine off. We were already in front of my building. I blinked at him, groggy. "Why didn't you wake me?" "You looked peaceful," he said. "Why would I wake you?" I stared at him. Those perfect brows, that steady gaze, so sure of himself, so unshakably sincere. He always answered like that. Blunt. Honest. No hesitation. Just like how he loved. No games. No hiding. Like he could say it any second. And mean it. Looking at that face, the one that tugged at me every damn second, I felt the buzz of alcohol surge straight to my head. "Got any mints?" I asked, my voice low and scratchy. "Oh, yeah." Ethan dug into his pocket and handed one over without question. I popped the mint into my mouth, its icy sweetness immediately blooming on my tongue. "Come closer," I murmured. "Hmm?" He tilted his head, confused but obedient, leaning in. I reached up, grabbed the open collar of his shirt, and kissed him. His body tensed instantly, like a coiled spring, but his lips. God, his lips were soft. Disarmingly soft. The cool tingle of mint swirled between us, sweet and sharp, spreading through every breath, every brush of teeth and tongue. His kiss was unpolished, shy, almost clumsy, but there was something stupidly endearing about the way he held back and leaned in all at once. His hand slid behind my neck, firm and possessive, like he was terrified I'd vanish if he let go. Before I knew it, I was in his lap, straddling him, breath tangled, the air between us electric and thinning fast. It was getting too much, too hot, too close. "Wait. No, stop," I gasped, pulling away. "Yes. Yes, yes." Ethan was panting, eyes blown wide, cheeks flushed all the way down his neck. "Right. I'll go. I'll go get it." He looked wrecked, breathless, lips swollen, but those damn puppy dog eyes of his were glowing like he'd just won the lottery. "Stay right here, okay?" His voice was hoarse, trembling with heat. "Be good. Wait for me." He fumbled to straighten his shirt, then jumped out of the car in a flurry of limbs and hormones, slamming the door behind him. I sat in the car for a while. Waiting. But I didn't wait long. I slipped out quietly and went home on my own. Because somewhere in the back of my mind, in the place right between impulse and clarity, I realized something terrifying. I was falling for him. And who wouldn't? A rich, ridiculously good-looking idiot, completely smitten, hopelessly devoted, and dumb enough to think I hung the moon. The kind of guy who'd give you all his assets and throw in his latest physical just to prove he was worthy. The kind of guy you could lose yourself in. And I was just a greedy, lust-driven girl with trust issues and a cynical streak a mile wide. But the more I felt for him, the more scared I became. Even people who live in the same world fall out of love. Fall apart. Get ugly. And Ethan and I? We weren't even from the same planet. Sprawled across my bed, I stared at my phone, heart in my throat. Then I typed. "I'm sorry. You're amazing, so amazing it almost feels like a custom-made scam plot. That's on me. Every guy I've dated turned out like a soggy pastry, looked good at first, but always crumbled. Some borrowed money and ghosted. Some cheated. The real overachievers did both. So yeah, maybe I'm just romance PTSD incarnate." I hit send on the string of chaotic texts. Dumped every inch of doubt and damage into that thread like a digital exorcism. Then knocked out cold. When I woke up the next morning, the sun was too bright, my mouth was dry. And my phone? Flooded. Every notification? Ethan. What scam? Who? Who scammed you? Borrowed money and cheated? Just tell me who, I'll find them. I'll ruin them. Wait, no, don't be scared. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Totally. Fully. Very legal. But, why did you say sorry? Wait. Are you breaking up with me before we've even started? That kiss, didn't that mean we were together already? That was my first kiss. I'm gonna cry. 12 a.m. I'm not rushing you. Really. We can go as slow as you want. I survived 4 years in the most soul-crushing boarding school in Germany. My patience has levels. These 3 years of liking you will be the most unforgettable 8 years of my life. When I look back in 10 years, I'll say it was all worth it. Okay, what the hell am I even saying? 3 a.m. He, my first kiss tasted like mint. Sob sob. You know what? I ate the rest of that tin of mints. Every single one. But it's okay, I ordered 100 new boxes. Wait, what if they discontinue them? Should I just by the company? Ethan, somewhere between manic billionaire and heartbroken theater kid, had turned my inbox into his own personal stage, laughing, crying, ranting, and spiraling, all night long. Like a one-man emotional opera live from Versailles. I, a mature and well-trained corporate mule, did what any seasoned professional would do. Stole a virgin boy's first kiss last night. And rode the 8 a.m. subway to work this morning without flinching. I'd just stepped into the lobby when the office's resident gossip queen ambushed me like a heat-seeking missile. "Emma. You dark horse," she squealed, locking her arm through mine. "Spill everything. Right now." I blinked. "Spill what?" She whipped out her phone like she'd just pulled a revolver from a holster. And there it was. Surveillance screenshots. From the supply closet. From that night. They were already viral in the office group chats. One particularly incriminating image, Ethan stepping out after me, shirt askew, tie off center, cheeks pink, lips slightly swollen. Standing beside me with the unmistakable aura of someone who'd just been handled. I buried my face in my hand. "What if I said we were just looking for inventory in there?" She gasped, mock offended. "You think I was born yesterday? Come on, girl, it's me. You know my lips are sealed. Right. And chickens lay diamonds." Before I could invent another excuse, the office phone rang. Front desk. "Emma, someone's here to see you. Could you come down?" My coworker gave me a knowing look. Didn't even say it out loud, her expression said everything. "He's here." The drama continues. I'm coming with. Even I assumed it was Ethan. But when I stepped into the lobby, it wasn't him. Standing there, hands in his coat pockets, was someone I never thought I'd see again. Vince. My ex. "Emma, did you miss me?" That voice. That voice. My entire body stiffened like someone had yanked a wire through my spine. I had changed my phone number, moved apartments, switched jobs. All just to disappear from Vince's life. And yet, here he was. Standing in my lobby like a damn ghost with good hair. "We broke up a long time ago," I said, keeping my tone as sharp as a blade. "Why are you here?" "Broke up?" Vince let out a mocking laugh. "Funny, because no one told me that." Of course. He must have caught wind of the office gossip, maybe those surveillance photos. Maybe my name trending in some company group chat. Maybe he saw me finally getting attention that wasn't about him. Now he was here to ruin it. He knew exactly what to do. Stand just a little too close. Speak a little too loud. Look wounded. Look betrayed. And it worked. People started to gather, trickling out of offices and cubicles like flies to heat. He made a show of looking crushed. "You ghosted me, Emma. Just disappeared. No explanation. Not even a goodbye." His voice trembled like he was performing for an audience. He was. "Is there someone else?" he asked, loud enough for the whole floor to hear. "Is that why you were so cruel?" Someone in the back whispered. "Isn't she the one from the group chat today? With the CEO's son?" Another voice chimed in. "Wait, is she cheating? I heard she's dating some small business guy, maybe this guy? Oh my god, double timing? Guess she upgraded. Social climbing 101. And just like that, the gossip spread like wildfire. Faster than truth, faster than facts. Faster than light. No one was listening to me. They weren't interested in explanations. They only wanted a scandal. And I had just become exactly the one they wanted. Vince caught the shift in the air. People watching. Buzz growing. Attention piling on. And like any man who thinks chaos is a spotlight, he doubled down. "Oh, so it's true," he sneered. "You did hook up with someone richer. That's why you dumped me, huh?" Then he leaned in, voice dropping low enough that only I could hear. Emma, don't think you can walk away that easy. You try to erase me, I erase you. Classic Vince. I said nothing. Because if I yelled, I'd become the drama. If I stayed silent, I'd be guilty by default. No matter what I did, I'd lose. So, screw it. I raised my hand, fully intending to slap some sense into the ghost of bad decisions past. But before I could even swing, my wrist was caught mid-air. By another hand. Steady. Warm. Unshakable. I turned, and nearly choked. Ethan. Where the hell did he come from? He was standing next to me like he'd been summoned by instinct, sunglasses on, posture casual but razor-edged. Cool as hell. Cool as Elvis. He tilted his head and looked at me sideways. This one? He asked, voice dry. Is he the one who ghosted you after borrowing cash, or the one who cheated? I hesitated. Both. Ethan let out a small, amused snort from his nose, low and sharp. Ah. The combo deal. Then he turned to Vince, dropped his sunglasses just low enough to let him really see who he was talking to. Then you're exactly who I came to find. The moment the crown prince showed up, the crowd started to disperse. Slowly. Reluctantly. Pretending to head back toward the elevators. Pretending not to stare. But no one was looking away. Not really. Ethan loosened his tie. Slowly. Casually. Popped open the top 2 buttons of his shirt. Rolled his shoulders. Then took off his Patek Philippe watch and dropped it right into my hand. Click click, his knuckles cracked like a countdown. The scene couldn't have screamed I'm about to throw hands any louder unless he'd pulled out a bat. Even Vince, dumb as he was, started backing up. What do you think you're doing? He stammered. This is a public place, there's security cameras everywhere, don't be stupid. Ethan didn't even blink. He pointed at a random coworker passing by. You. Go get someone from legal. Now. Then turned to me, calm as ever. How much does he owe you? 20 grand. Ethan nodded. We'll call it even. I'll waive the interest. And with that, he advanced on Vince like he was closing a business deal. I'm going to cause 20 grand worth of damage to your body. Call it repayment. Before Vince could react, bam, Ethan's foot connected with his knee. Vince collapsed. On his knees. In front of half the office. No man on earth would let that slide. He spat out a curse and lunged at Ethan, trying to swing. And that's when I realized. Ethan might look like a soft, spoiled rich kid. But the man could fight. His stance was solid. Movement sharp. Every punch clean, fast, and efficient. Vince barely touched him. Ethan dodged like he'd done this before. He didn't even lose the sunglasses. They stayed perfectly in place the whole time, like he was filming an ad for luxury chaos. And I just stood there. Mouth open. Clutching his stupid expensive watch. Completely, totally stunned. Just then, the elite squad from legal arrived, file folders in hand, suits sharp, expressions neutral. And instead of rushing in to stop the fight, they formed a semicircle like judges at a sanctioned underground brawl. Apparently, they weren't here to break it up. They were here to legally supervise it. Sir, one of them said calmly, flipping open a leather notebook, please avoid strikes to the face. Dental injury threshold, 1 tooth, max. Another adjusted his glasses. Soft tissue bruising on the torso, keep it under a 15 centimeters radius. A third one offered, very helpfully. Sir, we recommend grappling techniques. Temporary asphyxiation-induced fainting doesn't qualify as bodily harm in court. And then, almost as if choreographed, Ethan shifted, grabbed Vince by the throat, and executed a perfect rear naked choke. Vince's eyes rolled back. Limbs went slack. He dropped like a sack of regrets. Security, already briefed and waiting, picked him up under the arms and ankles and dragged him out the building like roadkill, completely unfazed. Ethan took a breath, adjusted his collar, and turned to me. Sunglasses still on. Not a hair out of place. I just stood there, holding his watch, mouth slightly open, absolutely stunned. This man brought a legal team to his fistfight. God help me, I think I'm in deeper than I thought. Ethan brushed off his hands, sauntered over, and slung one long arm over my shoulders like he was stepping off a movie set. Was that cool or what? He grinned. I gave him a sincere nod. No point pretending, it was cool. Stupidly, ridiculously cool. He leaned down, voice soft, a little nasally. Like someone who'd been sniffling behind his designer sunglasses all night. So, about those texts from last night. Can we maybe pretend you hit unsend? Then he slid his sunglasses off, slow and dramatic, revealing eyes red as a rabbit in allergy season. Please. I stared at him, stunned. Wait. You actually cried all night? He gave me that tragic little puppy pout. That was when I noticed a faint scrape on the back of his hand. Wait, are you hurt? Ethan immediately slumped against me like he was about to faint. Ow ow ow, that jerk had a thick skin. It was a brutal battle, sob sob. And so, naturally, I ended up escorting this emotionally fragile billionaire to the ER. Honestly, not because I was worried about the injury. But because if I didn't, he might weep all over the lobby floor and short-circuit the printer system. At the hospital, the nurse stared at Ethan's barely there cut, visibly holding back a sigh. If you'd come 5 minutes later, it would have healed on its own. No bandage needed. In the end, she handed us a bottle of iodine and told us to go home and play doctor if you're bored. On the ride back, Ethan parked in front of my building, hands lazily tracing circles on the steering wheel. You're not going to work today, he said flatly. I already called in sick for you. He looked straight ahead. Calm. Focused. Voice low. I'll handle the rumors. Tomorrow, no one will dare say anything. Then, quieter still. As for me, well, don't worry about me. I mean, whether I cry one night or cry for a week, it's all the same, right? His fingers twitched over the wheel. Got injured today, too. If I cry again tonight, who knows? I might not survive this one. God help me. He was guilt-tripping me in 4K. Where the hell did he learn this? That perfect back and forth between pitiful puppy and possessive wolf dog? I couldn't help it, I burst out laughing. Ethan, that scratch on your hand isn't even as bad as a mosquito bite you accidentally scratched open. He sighed, long and theatrical, then waved a hand like he was starring in some tragic 80s romance drama. Fine. Go. Don't look back. I'll be okay. Eventually. I stepped out of the car, still grinning, amused and exasperated all at once. Took 2 steps, then turned around. And just like that, he perked up like a golden retriever catching the sound of a treat bag. I leaned against the car door, one eyebrow lifted, a smirk tugging at my lips. My cat can do a backflip, I said softly. Wanna come see? Ethan's eyes lit up like someone had promised him forever. There was no cat. There had never been a cat. But I was pretty sure I'd just brought a dog home. The second the door closed, I shoved Ethan back against it and kissed him, no hesitation, no warning. But this time? He was ready. His breath hitched, body tense, but he turned his head at the last second, just out of reach. You gonna take responsibility? He said, voice shaky but stubborn. Last time you kissed me and ran. Is that how the working class operates now? Free kisses? No emotional tax? I chuckled low against his cheek and didn't answer. Didn't need to. Instead, I looped one arm around his neck. And with the other, began unbuttoning my shirt. One by one. Deliberate. Slow. Collarbone. Skin. Heat rising in the space between us. Ethan cracked. His head dropped to my shoulder, his voice breaking into a whisper. Emma, don't bait me like this. But I didn't stop. I tugged his tie, coiling it around my hand like a leash, pulling him down until our faces were a breath apart. What title do you want? I asked, voice soft but wicked. My dog? His breath stuttered. Pressed that close, his lips barely brushed mine when he whispered. Woof. I want my wife to be named Emma. And then his mouth was on my neck. Hot, desperate, completely undone. His hands found my waist. His body molded into mine. Heat and breath tangled. And in the quiet hum of my apartment, under cheap lighting and borrowed time, we blurred into one. Your younger boyfriends and that canine core stamina? Absolutely not a myth. Our only break came when we half-heartedly ate dinner, still tangled up in sheets, still breathless. Didn't even digest properly before Ethan came crawling right back, all lips and hands and zero boundaries. I was limp, flushed, and trying to cling to sanity. Pushed at his shoulder, gasping, can we just watch TV? Or, I don't know, talk about philosophy for a second? No, he murmured. He easily pinned my wrists above my head, leaned in until his lashes cast long shadows under his eyes. His smile? Downright wicked. I cried all night yesterday, he whispered. Then his fingers ghosted along the corner of my eye, still damp, still sensitive. And before I could say a word, he was kissing me again, slow and deep. Tonight, he said against my lips, voice low and hot. You cry for me. The end.